The cargo ship Star Runner shook violently as it broke through the atmosphere of Zellen's forest moon. Leo gripped the controls, fighting to keep his vessel steady. Warning lights flashed red across his dashboard, and the engine made terrible grinding sounds. "Come on, hold together," Leo muttered to his ship. He had been flying cargo runs for 5 years, but he had never seen a storm this bad. Lightning cracked across the purple sky, and strong winds pushed his small ship toward the thick forest below. The left engine exploded in a shower of sparks. Leo's heart pounded as he realized he was going to crash. He aimed for a clearing between the tall blue trees and prepared for impact. The ship hit the ground hard. Leo's head struck the wall, and everything went black. When he woke up, smoke filled the cockpit. Leo coughed and checked himself for injuries. His arm hurt, but nothing felt broken. He grabbed his emergency kit and plasma torch, then climbed out through the damaged door. The forest around him was strange and beautiful. The trees had blue bark and silver leaves that made soft chiming sounds in the wind. Purple flowers grew everywhere, and the air smelled sweet. But Leo had no time to enjoy the scenery. His ship was badly damaged, and he needed to find repair materials. Leo walked through the forest for an hour, looking for anything useful. Then he heard a sound that made him freeze. It was a low growling, followed by a woman's voice calling for help. He ran toward the sound and found a crashed transport ship much larger than his own. The elegant vessel was made of some kind of crystal material that still glowed with soft light. But the beautiful ship was surrounded by 6 massive creatures that looked like wolves made of black crystal. The crystal wolves had bright red eyes and razor-sharp teeth. They were trying to break into the transport's passenger section, where someone was trapped inside. "Help me," came the voice again. It was definitely a woman, and she sounded terrified. Leo had never seen crystal wolves before, but he could tell they were dangerous. Their claws left deep scratches in the crystal hull of the transport. One of them was already breaking through. Leo looked at his plasma torch. It was designed for cutting metal, not fighting monsters. But he could not leave someone to die. "Hey!" Leo shouted at the creatures. "Over here." All 6 crystal wolves turned toward him. Their red eyes glowed brighter, and they made a sound like breaking glass. Leo's hands shook as they began moving in his direction. Then Leo had an idea. He remembered reading that crystal-based life forms were sensitive to certain sound frequencies. He ran back toward his crashed ship, with the crystal wolves chasing him. Leo reached his ship and quickly connected his plasma torch to the engine's power system. The creatures were almost on him when he activated the engines at maximum power. The sound was incredibly loud, but more importantly, it created vibrations that made the crystal wolves stop. The creatures howled in pain and backed away from the ship. Leo adjusted the engine frequency, making the sound higher. The crystal wolves turned and ran into the forest, disappearing between the blue trees. Leo shut off the engines and ran back to the crashed transport. "Are you okay in there?" he called out. "Yes, thank you," came the reply. "But I am trapped. The door mechanism was damaged in the crash." Leo examined the door. It was made of the same crystal material as the rest of the ship, but he could see where the locking system had been crushed. He used his plasma torch to carefully cut through the damaged sections. The door opened with a musical chime, and out stepped the most unusual person Leo had ever seen. She was tall and graceful, with pale blue skin that seemed to glow from within. Her hair was white as snow, and her eyes were the color of silver. She wore elegant robes made of a shimmering material that changed colors as she moved. But what shocked Leo most was the small crown on her head. It was made of the same crystal as her ship, and it pulsed with gentle light. "I am Princess Vera of the Zelonian Empire," she said, bowing slightly. "You have saved my life, and I am in your debt." Leo stared at her. He had just saved an alien princess. "I'm Leo," he managed to say. "Just Leo. I'm a cargo pilot." Princess Vera smiled. Just Leo, you are very brave. Those were hunting crystal wolves. They are among the most dangerous creatures on this moon. Are you hurt? Leo asked. No, thanks to you. She looked at his damaged ship. But it seems we are both stranded here. Leo nodded. My engines are destroyed. Do you have a communication system? Yes, in my transport. Princess Vera led him to her ship. The inside was as beautiful as the outside, with walls that glowed softly and controls that looked like living crystal formations. She activated a communication panel that projected a three-dimensional image in the air. Within minutes, several Zalonian ships appeared in the sky above them. The rescue was swift and efficient. Zalonian soldiers landed and secured the area while engineers examined both crashed ships. Princess Vera spoke to their leader in her own language, pointing at Leo several times. They will tow your ship to our capital city for repairs, Princess Vera told Leo. My father insists that you come as our honored guest. Leo felt nervous about meeting an alien king, but he had little choice. His ship needed major repairs, and the Zalonians were being generous. The flight to the capital city took 2 hours. Leo looked out the window in amazement as they flew over crystal cities that sparkled like jewels. The buildings seemed to be grown rather than built, rising from the ground in organic curves and spirals. The royal palace was the most magnificent structure Leo had ever seen. It was a massive crystal formation that reached high into the clouds. Light danced through its walls, creating rainbows everywhere. King Voss was waiting for them in the throne room. He was even taller than his daughter, with the same pale blue skin and silver eyes. His presence filled the enormous chamber, and his crystal crown was larger and more elaborate than Princess Vera's. So this is the human who saved my daughter, King Voss said in perfect English. His voice was deep and musical. Your Majesty, Leo said, not sure if he should bow or not. You have done a great service to our family and our empire, the king continued. Princess Vera tells me you risked your life to drive away the crystal wolves. Anyone would have done the same thing, Leo replied. King Voss smiled. Perhaps, but you are the one who did it. He stood up from his throne. By the ancient laws of our people, anyone who saves royal blood must be rewarded. Leo felt relieved. Maybe they would give him some money or help repair his ship for free. Therefore, King Voss announced, you must either marry my daughter or accept exile from all Zalonian space forever. Leo's mouth fell open. Princess Vera looked equally shocked. I'm sorry, what? Leo asked. It is our most sacred law, King Voss explained. When someone saves a member of the royal family, they become bound to that family. Marriage joins the bloodlines and honors the debt. Exile prevents the debt from going unpaid. But we just met, Leo protested. I don't know anything about your culture or your species. The law does not require knowledge, only honor, King Voss said firmly. Princess Vera stepped forward. Father, surely there must be another way. The law is clear, daughter. It has protected our family for 1,000 years. Leo's mind raced. He had built his cargo business around the trade routes that ran through Zalonian space. If he was exiled, he would lose everything. But marriage to an alien princess seemed impossible. How long do I have to decide? Leo asked. 3 days, King Voss replied. You will stay here as our guest while you consider your choice. That evening, Leo was given a beautiful room in the palace. The walls were made of crystal that showed images of peaceful forests and flowing rivers. But Leo could not appreciate the beauty. He sat on the bed, trying to figure out what to do. A soft chime announced a visitor. Princess Vera entered the room, no longer wearing her crown. She looked tired and worried. I wanted to apologize, she said. This is not fair to you. It's not fair to either of us, Leo replied. Do you really have no choice in this? Princess Vera sat down in a chair across from him. None at all. My father believes deeply in our traditions. What will happen if I choose exile? You will never be allowed in Zalonian space again. Any ship you own will be destroyed if it enters our territory. Leo sighed. That would end his career as a cargo pilot. Most of the profitable routes required passage through Zalonian space. What will happen if I agree to marriage? He asked. You would become a prince of our empire, Princess Vera said. You would have wealth and position, but you would never be allowed to leave Zalonian space. So either way, I lose my freedom. Princess Vera nodded sadly. I understand your anger. I feel trapped too. Why? Leo asked. You're a princess. Don't you have power? Not in this, she replied. Actually, I was running away when my transport crashed. Leo looked at her in surprise. Running away from what? An arranged marriage to Lord Cranks of the Outer Reaches. He is cruel and violent, but the marriage would strengthen our empire's borders. Princess Vera's silver eyes filled with tears. I was trying to escape to the neutral systems when the storm hit. Leo understood now. They were both trapped by circumstances beyond their control. Your father doesn't know you were running away? No. He believes I was on a routine diplomatic mission to the outer colonies. They sat in silence for a moment, both thinking about their impossible situation. Maybe we can find a way out of this together, Leo said finally. Princess Vera looked at him hopefully. Do you have an idea? Not yet, Leo admitted. But I'm good at solving problems. There has to be another solution. The law has never been changed, Princess Vera said. It is considered sacred. Then maybe it's time for someone to question it, Leo replied. For the first time since the rescue, Princess Vera smiled. You really are different from anyone I have ever met. Different can be good, Leo said. Tomorrow I want to learn more about this law and your culture. If we're going to find a way out, we need to understand exactly what we're dealing with. Princess Vera stood up. I will help you. Maybe together we can find something that no one has thought of before. As she left the room, Leo felt a small spark of hope. He was still trapped in an impossible situation, but at least he was not facing it alone. And if there was one thing humans were good at, it was finding new solutions to old problems. The next morning, Leo woke to the sound of crystal chimes echoing through the palace. He dressed in the simple clothes the Zalonians had given him and made his way to the dining hall. Princess Vera was already there, eating what looked like glowing fruit. Good morning, Leo, she said. I hope you slept well. Not really, Leo admitted. I kept thinking about our situation. Before Princess Vera could reply, King Voss entered the hall. His expression was serious, and several nobles followed behind him. Leo recognized them from the previous day's ceremony. Human, King Voss announced. The noble houses have spoken. They believe you must prove yourself worthy before any marriage can take place. Leo felt his stomach drop. What do you mean? You must complete the 3 sacred trials of our people, one of the nobles said. His name was Lord Thane, and his silver eyes were cold. These trials have tested Zalonian nobles for centuries. Princess Vera stood up quickly. Father, this was not part of the original law. The law requires honor, King Voss replied. The trials will prove this human has honor worthy of our royal family. Lord Thane smiled, but it was not a kind smile. The first trial is the trial of crystal harmony. You must bond with our sacred crystals and prove you can understand their voices. Leo had no idea what that meant, but he could tell from Princess Vera's worried expression that it was not good. The second trial is the trial of ancestral memory, another noble added. This was Lady Zara, an elderly woman with intricate crystal jewelry. You must access the genetic memories of our people and show you understand our history. And the third trial is the trial of solar endurance, Lord Thane finished. You must survive 1 full day and night in the chamber of twin suns, where our star's light is focused to test physical and mental strength. King Voss nodded approvingly. These trials begin tomorrow. If you pass all 3, you will be worthy to marry my daughter. If you fail any trial, you will be exiled immediately. Leo looked at Princess Vera, who seemed frightened. Are these trials normally dangerous? He asked. They are challenging for Zelonians, King Voss said carefully. For a human, they may be more difficult. After the nobles left, Princess Vera grabbed Leo's arm. We need to talk privately, she whispered. They went to the palace gardens, where crystal flowers grew in impossible colors. Princess Vera made sure no one was watching before she spoke. Leo, those trials are designed to kill you, she said quietly. What do you mean? The trial of crystal harmony requires direct mental connection with our living crystals. They respond to Zelonian brain patterns. Human minds work differently. The connection could damage your brain permanently. Leo felt cold. And the other trials? The trial of ancestral memory uses genetic triggers that only work with Zelonian DNA. Humans do not carry our ancestral memories. The trial chamber will keep trying to activate memories that do not exist until your mind breaks. And the solar trial? The chamber of twin suns focuses our planet's double sunlight to levels that would cook human flesh in minutes. We can absorb the energy because of our crystalline biology. You cannot. Leo sat down on a crystal bench. So the nobles want me dead? Yes. If you die in the trials, they can claim you were not worthy. The marriage law will be satisfied, and I will still have to marry Lord Cranks. Why do they want that marriage so badly? Princess Vera looked around nervously. Lord Cranks controls the mining rights in the outer reaches. Those mines produce the rare crystals that power our technology. The noble houses have financial agreements with him. Leo began to understand. So this is about money and power, not honor. Exactly. They are using our sacred laws for profit. Leo stood up. Then I guess I need to find a way to pass these trials. Leo, you cannot. They are impossible for humans. Maybe, Leo said. But I am good at solving impossible problems. Can you get me access to information about the trials? I can try. But Leo, even if you survive, there may be more trials after these. One problem at a time, Leo replied. Right now, I need to understand what I am really facing. That evening, Princess Vera brought Leo to the palace library. The room was filled with crystal formations that stored information in patterns of light. Princess Vera activated several crystals, and holographic displays showed the history of the trials. The Crystal Harmony trial was created to test whether nobles could communicate with our technology, Princess Vera explained. Our crystals are alive in a way. They respond to thought patterns and emotions. Leo studied the display showing Zelonians placing their hands on large crystals and creating complex light patterns. So it is about communication, not magic. What do you mean? Your crystals are biological computers, Leo said. They process information through electrochemical signals, just like human brains do. The difference is the interface method. Princess Vera looked confused. I do not understand. Leo smiled. I am an engineer. I work with computers and electrical systems every day. If these crystals are living computers, then I should be able to find a way to communicate with them using engineering principles instead of telepathy. They moved to the next display, which showed the ancestral memory trial. Zelonians sat in meditation while genetic memories played out around them like movies. This trial tests whether nobles understand their heritage and responsibility, Princess Vera said. Leo watched the display carefully. But memories are just information stored in biological patterns, right? Like data files. I suppose so. Then maybe the trial is not about having Zelonian memories. Maybe it is about demonstrating that I understand the importance of memories and heritage. Leo turned to Princess Vera. Humans have oral traditions instead of genetic memories. We pass down stories, songs, and knowledge through words and teaching. You think that might work? It is worth trying. What about the solar trial? The final display showed Zelonians standing in a chamber filled with blinding light. Their skin glowed as they absorbed the energy. This trial tests physical and mental endurance, Princess Vera said. It proves that nobles are strong enough to lead during difficult times. Leo examined the technical specifications of the chamber. The light is focused using crystal lenses and mirrors. The temperature reaches over 200 degrees. But look at this. He pointed to part of the display. The energy is electromagnetic radiation, similar to what my plasma torch produces. If I can build a reflective shelter inside the chamber, I might be able to redirect most of the energy away from me. Is that possible? Maybe. I would need materials from my ship and some basic tools. Princess Vera looked hopeful for the first time. I can arrange for your ship's components to be brought here for repairs. No one will question that. Good. Now I need to practice for the first trial. They spent the rest of the night in the crystal garden, where Leo experimented with the smaller crystals. At first, nothing happened when he touched them. But when he began treating them like electronic circuits, checking for electrical resistance and frequency patterns, the crystals began to respond. Leo, they are glowing, Princess Vera said in amazement. Because I am approaching them logically instead of emotionally, Leo explained. I am analyzing their structure and finding the right input methods. By dawn, Leo could make the garden crystals create simple light patterns. It was not the complex communication that Zelonians achieved, but it proved that humans could interface with the technology. The first trial took place in the Temple of Harmonies, a vast chamber filled with crystals of every size and color. The noble houses gathered to watch, clearly expecting Leo to fail quickly. Lord Thane presented Leo with a crystal formation the size of a tree. You must achieve perfect harmony with the master crystal, he announced. Create the pattern of royal recognition, or face immediate exile. Leo placed his hands on the crystal and felt a strange tingling sensation. Instead of trying to think at the crystal like a Zelonian would, he began systematically testing different electrical frequencies using his body's natural bioelectricity. The crystal began to glow softly. Leo adjusted his approach, treating the crystal like a complex circuit that needed the right input signal. Slowly, a pattern of lights began to form across the crystal's surface. The pattern was not exactly the same as what a Zelonian would create, but it was clearly intentional and complex. The assembled nobles murmured in surprise. The human has achieved basic harmony, King Voss announced. The first trial is passed. Lord Thane looked angry, but he could not argue with the result. The second trial took place the next day in the Chamber of Memory. Leo was surrounded by crystal formations that projected genetic memories into the air around him. But instead of trying to access Zelonian memories, Leo began telling human stories. He spoke about Earth's history, about the first humans who learned to use fire and build tools. He talked about the exploration of space and the courage required to leave the safety of home worlds. He shared stories of human heroes who sacrificed themselves for others. As Leo spoke, something unexpected happened. The memory crystals began recording his words and displaying them as visual stories. The chamber filled with images of human history and culture. The human shows understanding of heritage and the importance of memory, King Voss declared. The second trial is passed. Lady Zara looked shocked. But these are not our memories. The trial tests understanding of memory itself, King Voss replied. The human has demonstrated that his people also value their heritage. Leo had passed 2 trials, but the third would be the most dangerous. That night, Princess Vera helped him prepare by bringing components from his crashed ship. Leo worked through the night, building a reflective shelter using metal panels and mirror fragments. The next morning, Leo entered the chamber of twin suns carrying his improvised equipment. The chamber was a crystal dome that focused the light of both suns into a beam of incredible intensity. As soon as the trial began, the temperature soared. But Leo's reflective shelter worked exactly as he had planned. Most of the deadly energy was redirected away from him, creating a safe pocket in the center of the inferno. Leo endured the full day and night, using engineering principles to survive what was meant to be a test of biological adaptation. When the trial ended, he emerged tired but unharmed. The noble houses were furious but could not deny that Leo had passed all 3 trials. King Voss looked impressed and perhaps a little proud. "You have proven yourself worthy," the king announced. "The marriage will proceed." But as the crowd dispersed, Princess Vera whispered to Leo, "This is not over." Lord Thane looked too angry. "I think they will try something else." Leo nodded. He had won the trials, but he could feel that the Real challenge was just beginning. The morning of the wedding ceremony arrived with great fanfare. Crystal bells rang throughout the capital city, and citizens gathered in the streets to witness the historic union between a human and their princess. But Leo felt sick to his stomach as servants dressed him in elaborate ceremonial robes. Princess Vera looked beautiful in her wedding dress made of living crystal that shifted colors with her emotions. But her silver eyes showed the same trapped feeling that Leo felt. They had both passed the trials, but neither wanted this marriage. "Are you ready?" Princess Vera asked quietly as they prepared to enter the great temple. "No," Leo replied honestly. "But I have been thinking about what you said. About Lord Thane looking angry after the trials." "What do you mean?" "I think we need to look more carefully at why you were really in that forest when I found you." Before Princess Vera could respond, the temple doors opened, and they had to begin the ceremony. The great hall was filled with thousands of Zalonians, all watching as Leo and Princess Vera walked down the aisle toward King Voss and the high priest. But as they reached the altar, Leo made a decision that shocked everyone. "Your Majesty," Leo said loudly, "I request the right to speak before this ceremony continues." The crowd murmured in surprise. King Voss looked confused. "What is the meaning of this?" "I have discovered something important about the day I saved Princess Vera," Leo announced. "Something that affects the validity of this marriage law." Lord Thane stood up from his seat among the nobles. "The human is trying to delay the inevitable," he called out. "The law is clear." "Let him speak," King Voss said. "What have you discovered?" Leo took a deep breath. "The crash that brought Princess Vera and me together was not an accident. It was planned." Gasps echoed through the temple. Princess Vera looked at Leo in shock. "That is impossible," Lady Zara protested. "The princess was on a diplomatic mission." "No," Leo said firmly. "Princess Vera was running away from an arranged marriage to Lord Cranks. But someone made sure she would never reach the neutral systems." King Voss turned to his daughter. "Is this true? Were you running away?" Princess Vera hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, father. I could not marry Lord Cranks. He is cruel and violent." "But how do you know the crash was planned?" King Voss asked Leo. Leo pulled out a small device from his pocket. "I found this in the wreckage of Princess Vera's ship yesterday when I was gathering materials for the trials. It is a sabotage device designed to overload navigation systems during storms." The crowd erupted in angry voices. King Voss examined the device with growing fury. "Who dares to attack my daughter?" the king roared. "The same people who arranged for my cargo ship to be in that exact area at that exact time," Leo continued. "The same people who sent crystal wolves to that location using sonic lures." Leo activated his portable scanner and projected a holographic display above the altar. "I analyzed the flight data from both ships last night. My cargo route was changed at the last minute by an emergency shipping request. The request came from a company owned by the noble houses." Lord Thane stood up angrily. "These are lies. You have no proof." "Actually, I do," Princess Vera said suddenly. She activated her own communication device, and another hologram appeared. I recorded my conversation with Captain Nex, the transport pilot, before we crashed. He told me someone had paid him extra money to take a specific route through the storm. Play the recording, King Voss commanded. Princess Vera activated the recording. Captain Nex's voice filled the temple. Princess, I must confess something. Lord Thane paid me to fly through the storm zone. He said it would delay your arrival at the neutral systems. I did not know about the sabotage device. The evidence was overwhelming. King Voss's crystal crown blazed with angry light as he turned toward the nobles. You plan to murder my daughter, he said in a voice like thunder. We plan to stop a foolish girl from destroying important treaties, Lord Thane replied defiantly. The marriage to Lord Cranks will secure our borders and our economy. By murdering Princess Vera? The crystal wolves were meant to kill her quickly, Lady Zara added coldly. It would have looked like an accident. No one would have questioned it. Princess Vera stared at the nobles in horror. You tried to kill me for money. And when I accidentally saved her, Leo continued, you decided to use the marriage law to get rid of both of us. The trials were designed to kill me. If I died, Princess Vera would still be forced to marry Lord Cranks. But you survived, Lord Thane snarled. So now we will have a human prince who knows nothing about ruling. King Voss raised his hand for silence. These nobles have betrayed the royal family and our sacred laws. They will face judgment. He turned to Leo and Princess Vera. But this still leaves us with the marriage law. You saved my daughter's life, even if the situation was created by treachery. Leo had been waiting for this moment. Your Majesty, I would like to propose a different solution. One that honors your law while serving the greater good of both our peoples. Speak. The marriage law exists to prevent political assassination by ensuring that those who save royal blood are bound to the royal family. But there are other ways to create that bond besides marriage. Leo stepped forward. I propose becoming an official ambassador between humans and Zelonians. I would pledge my loyalty to your empire and your family, but as a diplomat and cultural advisor, not as a prince through marriage. The crowd listened intently as Leo explained his idea. Humans and Zelonians think differently, as I proved during the trials. Human problem-solving methods could help your people in many ways. In exchange, I could learn Zelonian technology and culture to share with my own species. Princess Vera stepped forward as well. Father, I request permission to lead this cultural exchange program. I have learned much from watching Leo's approach to problems. I believe I could serve our people better as a bridge between worlds than as someone's political wife. King Voss considered this carefully. The marriage law has never been modified before. But it has never faced a situation like this before, Leo replied. The law was created to protect the royal family. Surely the law should serve the people, not the other way around. The high priest, who had been silent throughout the discussion, suddenly spoke. Your Majesty, I have studied our oldest legal texts. The marriage requirement can be replaced with other forms of binding oath, if both parties agree and the oath serves the greater good. King Voss looked at his daughter. Vera, do you truly believe this path would serve you better than marriage? Yes, Father. I want to help our people grow and learn, not be traded like property for political gain. The king then looked at Leo. And you, human, would you swear the same oath of loyalty that marriage would require? I would, Your Majesty. But I would also maintain my freedom to travel between worlds to fulfill my duties as ambassador. King Voss was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. You know, this is exactly the kind of creative thinking our empire needs. Very well. I approve this modification to the ancient law. He raised his voice to address the entire temple. Let it be known that the human Leo has fulfilled the requirements of our sacred law through diplomatic service rather than marriage. Let it also be known that Princess Vera will lead our new cultural exchange program with the human worlds. The crowd cheered, except for the disgraced nobles who were being escorted away by guards. 3 months later, Leo stood in the palace gardens with Princess Vera, watching the first group of human students arrive to study Zelonian crystal technology. At the same time, young Zelonians were preparing to visit human worlds to learn about engineering and space navigation. "Are you happy with how things turned out?" Princess Vera asked. Leo smiled as he watched humans and Zelonians working together on a joint research project. "Very happy. We both found something better than what we were running away from." "I never thanked you properly," Princess Vera said. "Not just for saving my life, but for showing me that there are always more than two choices." "That is what humans do best," Leo replied. "We refuse to accept that things cannot change." Princess Vera laughed. "I think that is exactly what our two peoples need to learn from each other." A Zelonian engineer approached them excitedly. "Princess, Leo, you must see this. The human students have found a way to grow crystals that can store twice as much energy as our traditional methods. And the Zelonian students just solved a navigation problem that has puzzled human pilots for years," added a human professor who was working with them. Leo and Princess Vera exchanged satisfied looks. Their solution was working even better than they had hoped. As the sun set over the crystal city, painting everything in shades of gold and purple, Leo reflected on how much his life had changed. He was no longer just a cargo pilot flying the same routes every month. He was an ambassador, helping two very different species understand each other. "What are you thinking about?" Princess Vera asked. "Just that sometimes the best adventures begin with the worst crashes," Leo replied. Princess Vera smiled. "And sometimes the best solutions come from people who refuse to follow the rules." That evening, Leo received a message from King Voss. The cultural exchange program was being expanded to include other human colonies and alien species. Leo would be promoted to Chief Cultural Ambassador, with Princess Vera as his co-leader. It was exactly the kind of challenge Leo had always dreamed of. He would get to explore new worlds, meet different species, and solve problems that no one had ever faced before. As he prepared for sleep that night, Leo thought about the marriage law that had seemed so impossible to escape. By refusing to accept that there were only two choices, he and Princess Vera had created something entirely new. The ancient law still existed, but now it served as a foundation for cooperation instead of forced obligation. Other species were already asking about similar diplomatic arrangements with the Zelonian Empire. Leo smiled as he drifted off to sleep. Tomorrow would bring new challenges and new opportunities. But tonight, he was simply grateful that sometimes the worst situations can lead to the best outcomes, especially when you have the courage to find a third option.